was great. I don't know.
Eat Lux your way with the Lux Cravings boxes from Taco Bell. There's the classic $5 box, the indulgent $7 box, and a whole new obsession in the $9 box, the Flamin' Hot Grilled Cheese Burrito. Try the Lux Cravings boxes at Taco Bell today.
The biggest contest we've ever seen.
Seriously, what's the guarantee?
They're still talking about it.
I think it's time to put the rumors to rest.
Showtime!
$30 million.
$30 million?
$30 million? $30 million?
That's $30 million guaranteed. 3 contests, multiple ways to win, no rate. Entry starting at $1,000. Enter in Nevada, play from anywhere.
Check out the all-new Blue and Orange store at the Boise State Hall of Fame. The Blue and Orange store has your best game day gear. We're talking jerseys, hats, bumper stickers, car flags, more than 4,000 hats on the hat wall. If you want the best Boise State gear, make sure you check out the Blue and Orange store online at theblueandorangestore.com or the all-new Blue and Orange store down at the Boise State Allen Noble Hall of Fame.
Sunny days call for Sun Cruiser Vodka Iced Tea. Made with real iced tea and real vodka. Refreshing and goes down smooth. Let the good times cruise with Sun Cruiser.
How's your day going?
It's going good. Thank you again.
When I want Boise State to win, I trust Coach Rice to lead the Broncos to victory.
And when I want the best painting and garage floor coating, I trust rowpaint.com to get that job done right.
Hey Bronco Nation, this is Shannon Keegren with Boise State Softball. Summer in Idaho is the best time of year. Rodeos, camping trips, and the hikes that end in views you'll never forget. At Lithia Ford of Boise, we're here to get you there. With a team known for incredible customer service, the best new and pre-owned inventory, and a commitment to making your experience easy, friendly, and fast. But here's the best part. Every purchase here helps support Boise State athletics through their NIL partnership and athletic sponsorships. See you soon at Lithia Ford of Boise, where Ford begins in Idaho.
This is Bronco Nation News Live. The best interviews, the most informed opinions, the latest breaking news, all from the top Boise State insiders. Bronco Nation News Live is the only daily show that talks nothing but Boise State sports. And we do it with you. Give us your comments or questions in the ICCU YouTube chat. Or leave us a voicemail on the Signature Roofing voice inbox at speakpipe.com/BNN. BNN broadcasts come from the Sun Cruiser Studios. Sunny days call for Sun Cruiser Vodka Iced Tea. Made with real iced tea and real vodka. It's refreshingly smooth and easy to drink. Crack open a Sun Cruiser and let the good times cruise. Bronco Nation News is presented by our title sponsor, Lithia Ford of Boise, and our major sponsors, Taco Bell, Idaho Central Credit Union, RoadPaint.com, and the Blue and Orange Store. At Lithia Ford of Boise, we're proud to stand with Boise State athletics. Through our NIL marketing partnerships, we're investing in the future of student athletes. Lithia Ford of Boise, here to get you there, wherever that may be. Lithia Ford of Boise, where Ford begins in Idaho. Broadcasting from the Sun Cruiser Studios, here's BJ Rains with another edition of Bronco Nation News Live.
What's up, Bronco Nation? Again, Lithia Ford of Boise, our title sponsor. Get on out and check out Lithia Ford of Boise. We would not have Bronco Nation News without Lithia Ford of Boise, and we appreciate them for their support here at BNN. My name is BJ Rains. Jay Tust going to join us here momentarily. It's Tuesday, July 14th, 2026, and we are having fun on Bronco Nation News Live. We're on YouTube. We're on Facebook. We're on X. We appreciate all of you wherever you're watching. We always enjoy the shout-outs. You let us know where you're watching from, and that's always fun. As always, Billy. Nobody can beat Billy. I don't know how he does it, what the secret is, but he's always the first in here, and we appreciate you, Billy. Yes, he is lightning quick. So appreciate all of you guys that make this part of your day. We talk Boise State sports Monday through Friday, 9 a.m., pregame shows, postgame shows from the field, from the press box, from press row, and we bring you closer to Boise State athletics than pretty much anybody. So we appreciate all of you that continue to make this part of your daily routine. And again, wouldn't be possible without all of our great sponsors, but of course, Lithia Ford of Boise, Jim Sturk and Company, and whether it's Spencer Danielson or Jeremiah Dickey, a lot of great, I believe Jay Tust probably sporting a Lithia Ford of Boise vehicle as well. So all of the folks that you know and love over at Boise State, Jim Sturk is helping them out, and we hope that you'll do the same for your next car or truck purchase. We are in our series, 25 questions, 25 storylines around the Boise State football team. But Jay Tust got to start it off with I should switch hats maybe here for a couple minutes here. How about last night's home run derby? My boy Jordan Walker walking it off on the final swing. The Rains boys, I got to be honest, man, that was a lot of fun last night in the Rains household. They were all, that last round, they were all dialed in, and we posted a little picture to Facebook, a little video, but it was pretty cool. It was legit excitement on the walk-off for Jordan Walker. And my kids have not had a lot of, to be honest, Jay, they kind of were born right when the Cardinals started going downhill. So we haven't had a whole lot of like family Cardinals moments to celebrate the last couple of years. But Jordan Walker last night in the Derby, sorry, Kyle Schwarber, but that was fun.
I don't want to hear about any team struggles because I was born 4 decades ago, and I'm still waiting on the Mariners to do something. But they did do something last year. Cal Raleigh won the Derby last year, which – as when you're a little kid or even a grown up for that matter, there's something about the home run derby that, it's got its placeholder in the middle of summer. That's a whole lot of fun. And it's always cool when you're.
I like the format last night too. They switched back to the swings. I mean, I think you could go outs probably and how they used to have it. And maybe that would allow for more home runs, but the swings kind of guarantee guys won't get too tired, I guess, that way, but it's still better. You could admire some of the home runs and not be worried about the next pitch already being thrown because of the timer. I'm old school, man. I've actually been to a couple of home run derbies with my previous job, and that was the way the Philly fans were booing, like Wilson Contreras in the semifinals, and then Jordan Walker, and that was just it worked out perfect for MLB that Schwarber was in the finals, and I just thought it was if you are a baseball fan, regardless of who you wanted, I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I got to say, though, I actually kind of like the timer at times. Like,
really?
More balls going out, more home runs. I don't know. Plus, Julio won it one year. Cal won it. Actually, Julio didn't win it that year. He, should have. He, 40 jacks or something. And but then, yeah, I don't know. Well, it has nothing to do with Cal now, BSU fan 86. I don't think that is because he won the home run derby last year and went on.
That had me a little worried. Like they're talking about his stance being more upright last night than during the season. Like I don't want him messing up his swing here, but that was pretty cool. And hopefully he's
Cal went on to should have won the MVP last year. Like he still did great after the home run derby.
Same.
Julio got hot after his home run derby. I don't know. I'm not buying that.
All right, good. That was fun, man. I'm like, I know they had those couple years where they used to wear like these stupid like National League, American League jerseys, and they got away from the team stuff. I'm very like it was pretty cool. Like to watch the Mariners player in the Derby, to watch your guy in the Derby tonight. We'll probably watch the game, and in terms of all the All-Star games, I don't know if I loved that when the home field advantage was on the line for the World Series, but it still is one of the more competitive ones with the stars out there. And I always enjoy the MLB All-Star game. I do.
I agree with you.
Yeah. All right. People are saying World Cup semifinals. I guess there is one of those today as well. Is Argentina today? I believe so.
USA bowed out, which means I bowed out.
Yep. All right. Luis says, sorry, I'm late to the party. Let's talk some football. We are going to talk some football. Luis, by the way, Juno Beach, Florida, checking in. Appreciate the stable, as always, for watching as well. And they're still saying now Cal is cooked, strikeout machine. I don't know if a home run derby last July is the – but there's some people that's why people turn down the derby sometimes. They don't want to have it mess up their swing.
Again, last year he was fine after the derby. He went on to hit 60 jacks and driving 125 as a catcher. He was fine.
That's a good point. Yeah, it would have been like right away or something.
I think he's banged up, and I think that they need to figure out a way to get him out from catching 100 and some odd games behind home plate.
I would agree. Jay, a couple of kind of news and notes here first before we get into today's question. We're going to talk about the edge position today. So if you have a thought on the edge position, where's the pass rush pressure coming from? Who do you like to step up in the edge room? Let us know in the ICCU YouTube chat. Branch on pretty much every corner, but you can check them out online, ICCU.com. And we'll get to that in a minute. But you guys officially sent out the details yesterday for the media day next week, Jay. Looking forward to that. That's going to be pretty cool. And I saw that the Mountain West is having theirs, I think, tomorrow and Thursday down there in Vegas. And would I have loved to have gone down to Vegas? Yes. And talk to Teresa Gould in person and some of the things, and get to meet some of these other coaches. And would it have been, I think, for the first year of the league, something that probably should have happened and been pretty cool? I'm going to say yes. And I do think that's a mistake that they're not doing it. But in terms of actual coverage and what people on this show want to watch and on Bronco Studios want to watch, I think, talking to Stacey Collins and Eric Chenander and Nate Potter and, 4 other players other than a Maddox Madsen and a Jaden Mickey or something is maybe going to be a little more newsworthy, noteworthy, of interest than talking to, the Oregon State coach or the Texas coach. So there's positives and negatives to both, but the way you guys are doing it, I think, is pretty cool and going to set up kind of a very similar format, it sounds like, and talk to some coaches and talk to some players. And we'll be live for, I think, 3 hours down there, probably, the way it's all going to work out. I know you guys will have some live coverage, and Johnny and Prater will be down there and all the other media. So kudos to the whole crew over there for making this happen. I think it's going to be pretty cool.
I think it will be fun. I think that you're going to be, it's going to be wall-to-wall Boise State content, which, let's face it, once we get to the middle to the late part of July, we're all kind of itching for that. And then when August it's here, it's full throttle. It's all we want to talk about. So, do I wish there was a media days? Yeah, I do. I get it. I will say it is fun to go down there and you hear opposing players and opposing coaches weigh in on the Broncos, and having Kirby Moore and some of those guys talk about it would have been cool. Would have been that much more interesting. But I think that this is a strong pivot from what has been done traditionally. And I mean, I think there's also been years where, even when I was on the other side, we were clamoring for stuff like this, little more, prior to the season to help fill the gap. And now you're going to have, up to 10 members of the Boise State football program that are going to talk, maybe even more. I don't even know yet. So that'll be a lot, and it'll be nice to catch up with all those guys.
And that's a week from tomorrow, I believe, from 12 to 3. So a week from tomorrow from 12 to 3, we will probably not have a morning show and instead have a 3-hour kind of extravaganza down there, looking at getting Brad Bedell, some other folks down there hosting with me and talking to the players, the coaches, maybe even a appearance from Jay Tust, depending on what your guys' live schedule is. So going to be, like you said, just, typically at the normal media days, you get all the other coaches, and the actual Boise State talk is a pretty minimal portion of that. But I think it's going to be basically 3 straight hours of Boise State talk. So make plans for that next Wednesday, a week from tomorrow, from 12 until 3. By the way, Jay, did I tell you about the AP voting for next year? I think I did.
No.
Oh. I know you've done it for basketball. I don't know if you've ever done it for football. You're looking at the Idaho AP football voter this year. So not sure how I feel about that. I just got the email. They're very nice people there at the AP, and they do a very good job of telling us the results and keeping us in line. And here's how you fill out the thing. And I got the initial welcome to the thing this year yesterday, and I'm still kicking myself for why I said I would do it.
Hey, football's better than basketball, in my opinion.
I would hope 1 game a week.
Yeah.
You don't get to watch a lot of the games, though, when you're covering, a Boise State game. But
still, in basketball, you always have – there's 368 teams or whatever, and then there's always a cluster on the bubble that
And the head-to-head factors a lot more because all these teams play each other. And
but you want to do what you think is right and things like that. But then there's also pressures to make sure that you follow order at least a little bit. So I don't know. I think the football would be much, I don't know if easier is the right word, but I would rather do football than men's basketball. It's not because I like one more than the other. I'm just saying, like, when it comes to the time, basketball would consume some time. Football, you're gonna have a pretty good idea. Especially when
I always feared on those Monday mornings when I'd occasionally forget to turn it in, and you wake up with like 3 texts and calls from the people on the East Coast needing your ballot to put the poll out. So I'm hoping that before I go to bed after these games on Saturdays, I remember to at 4 in the morning remember to get the ballot done, so I'm not holding up the release of the poll on Sunday morning.
Yeah.
Did you ever get that email? Did you ever forget to do it?
It happened a couple times. Happened a couple times.
The worst was you're like watching, Sunday night, whatever, I guess not Sunday night football. I guess you would have for a while, but or something on Netflix or whatever. And like you're ready to be done for the Sunday night, and then at like 10 p.m. you get the reminder you haven't turned in your ballot yet, and you're like, oh crap, here goes 2 more hours that I got to do now. But hopefully you're right. Hopefully football is a little easier. And Nathaniel says, guess we know who to go to if Boise State is underranked. I have not even begun to look at the list and to see if Boise State would be in my top 25 or not. I haven't even begun to think. But if they're going to be the top group of 6 team, you probably need to be somewhere in the top 25. I would think so. We'll figure that out. But I got the email yesterday and was like, oh, why did I say yes to that? But we'll see. We will see. Jay, we're talking the edge position. Question number 14 on our list. Who is going to step up at the edge position for Boise State? And we're going to do that here in just a second. But I do want to thank Idaho Central Credit Union, ICCU.com. There's a branch pretty much on every corner, but the easiest is that mobile e-branch online banking right there in your smartphone. So easy to use. Make the switch today. Idaho Central Credit Union, ICCU.com. Hey, if you're looking to go to Roaring Strings, I know today is maybe not necessarily the day, kind of cloudy and might rain, but $32 in savings. Roaring Springs Water Park when you buy 2 Coca-Cola products from Jackson's. That's right. Just go buy 2 Coca-Cola products. Save up to $32 in Roaring Springs from our friends at Jackson's. And don't forget that 99-cent fountain drink when you use your Let's Go Rewards app. Our friends at Taco Bell, they made that $1 million donation. Return the favor. TacoBellWorks.com, the SON Management Group, the Nicolason family. We appreciate Taco Bell. TacoBellWorks.com. Delicious food, renovated, lobbies and restaurants there, and great prices, great menu that changes daily. Check out a Treasure Valley Taco Bell location today. And still some limited edition jackets left. The Blue and Orange Store, the blueandorangestore.com. The 40th anniversary of the Blue Turf. And Jay, we're going to be doing something cool. I guess I'll go ahead and let the cat out of the bag here on this. But first, the blueandorangestore.com online. The blueandorangestore.com. Get all your official Boise State gear. But, Jay, I know you guys are working with Collect BSU. They're the company that is putting together the sale of the Blue Turf and a lot of the cool things there. We are actually partnering with Collect BSU, and we are going to do a cool thing, 40 and 40. And we're going to give listeners here the chance in 40 seconds or less to give us a memory of the 40 years of the Blue Turf. And you can send us a video, and we're going to play one a day for basically 40 of them leading into the home opener against Memphis. It's going to start next Monday. I'll tell you more details later this week. But one of those cool shadow boxes, Jay, I believe, that has Gene Blameyer's signature on it. We're going to be giving one of those away to the 40 people that put in their name. We're going to draw one out, and they're going to get a winner of that. And we're going to repurpose some of that content to social media. So I think you probably know more details about how Collect BSU works, and they're selling a lot of that stuff. I know the whole, Big Cat bought a big piece of the Blue Turf, and that's from that. And I believe you can get a small piece, Jay, for as little as like $40.
Yep.
Okay. So, and they have the website Collect BSU. We'll tell you more about it. But if you're interested, I'm asking for iPhone video because that's the easiest for me with a Mac to put it in. But you can email me, rains@bronconationnews.com if you want to be one of the first to do it. 40 seconds or less. Give us your best memory or your coolest memory of 40 years on the Blue Turf. And you need to do it horizontally on the phone and send it to me. Email me at rains@bronconationnews.com. And we are going to give away one of those shadow boxes. We'll pick one out at the end. We'll tell you more about that later on. But the edge position, Jay, number 14 on our question. And how, the question is not necessarily how good is the edge position going to be? What are we expecting? It's more just how deep does it go? Because I do think a big question around the edge position this season is, what's the rotation going to look like? how many guys are in the mix and who, other than Jaden Virgin Morgan, can this group rely on? And I know there's been a lot of talk about Max Steege, and I believe last year he only had didn't have a ton of sacks, I believe, last year. Yeah. And there's, was it half a sack?
I think he came in the season opener.
Yeah. And so I know that's a big, a big talking point, I guess. Where can Max Steege take that next step? Jaden Virgin Morgan back for another year. Is he going to finally kind of, he's had 2 really good years. Last year, I know some of the bigger numbers weren't quite as good but a lot of the analytical numbers were even better. But does he maybe take another jump, and whether it be the sack total or some of that kind of production, we'll see. But otherwise, behind him, there's certainly, a lot of questions. You've got Sterling Lane, you've got Roman Kaywood, Bull. There's some other guys in the mix. I know Gustav Hendricks Ross is a guy that some people are high on, including our boy Chris Van Sickle. So, open-ended question. The edge room, your thoughts on that group going into the season?
Yeah, I have heard some good things about Gustav. Now, he is a little young. With Jaden Virgin Morgan leading that group, I think that there is potential to be better than they were last year. Jaden Virgin Morgan 2 years ago was obviously working on the opposite side of Ahmed Hassanin. Last year, he steps into that number 1 role where everybody's focused on JVM, and he was still super productive in terms of tackles for loss, sacks. And then you mentioned some of the analytics that I know our boy Nathan loves to dive into. Those really justified the performance that Jaden Virgin Morgan had last season. A guy I'm really excited about this year. I think you saw him turn it on last year, and he made one of the biggest plays of the season last year, and that's Roman Kaywood down at Utah State. Boise State needs a stop, and Utah State ran that quarterback, sneak or whatever with as more power with a success rate that was like 85 or 90% on the season, and 4th and 2 or shorter or whatever. And Roman was in on that play that helped get that stop for Boise State. They go down and score. They wind up playing for the Mountain West Conference Championship, which they ultimately go on to beat UNLV and go back to back to back. So I'm excited to see what Roman Kaywood can do this year. We saw flashes from Sterling Lane II in the bowl game. He had his best performance of the season against the University of Washington. Bull continues to develop. So I think last year, it was a year where maybe our patience was tested a little bit because they were developing some guys. But I think that patience pays off this year, where not only are you confident in the starters that you roll out there, but I think that you have some guys that you can rotate in at times. Like Ahmed, Jaden Virgin Morgan's going to be hard to take off the field. That guy's going to play a lot of snaps this year, and it is what it is. But I do think that they are, on the cusp of developing some more depth at that position that might keep those guys even a little more fresh.
A lot of love in the chat for Bull. Breakout season incoming from BSU Bill. The stable says, I want to see Bull make a jump this year. Certainly I saw him in spring make some plays, and he was a guy that, was getting some talk. He's got the size and the length, and particularly the length of his arms, right, Jay, and some of the things that he can do. He's a guy Leon Rice would probably love to have on the wing or something out there for the basketball team. But what do you make of Bull, and his outlook for this year?
He's a perfect example. And let's remember, he's young, man. He's only a sophomore. I believe a true sophomore too, for that matter. So 6'4", 240. I think you've seen him beef up a little bit. He saw action in 10 games last year. Didn't have a ton of production, but he also didn't play a ton on the defensive side of the ball. But I think he's a guy that, you can be excited about him coming along and growing and learning and seeing where he can take this thing to this year. I think the best thing that can happen, though, is you develop a little bit of depth and you create competition. And once that happens, everybody's going to be fighting to play on the field. And if you slip a little bit, there could be some guy behind you to take your job. I feel very confident with Max Steege and Jaden Virgin Morgan, probably starting against Oregon. But there's going to be competition for sure. Jaden Virgin Morgan, he's one of the most solidified, positions on the team in terms of what he's going to do, start, contribute, and things like that. But there'll be competition to get on the field and fight for playing time.
Well, I was going to ask, I mean, are we just handing Max Steege a starting spot here, or BSU Bill says K-Wood will overtake Steege and get the other spot? How much is Steege established enough, or are some of these guys you think right on his heels?
Well, oftentimes we cling to sack totals to define production for these guys. And I mean, Steege had 7 tackles for loss last year, so it's not like he didn't do anything. I think that, he was probably hungry to get a few more sacks along the way. But again, another guy that was pretty raw when he came to Boise State. He's learning, he's growing. Now he has a season under his belt where he did play a lot. And, I think that it gets tricky when it comes down to age and things like that. So that all has to be assessed later. But, with the 5 for 5 coming through, that this is a guy that might even get another year as a Bronco. So you could be really looking at a little run here where Steege is a nice contributor. I don't know I don't know how many positions I am just willing to grant the starting job here on, July 14th. I'm willing to do that for Jaden Virgin Morgan. I'm really willing to go out on that limb for him. For Steege, I got a lot of confidence in him. I think he's a great program guy. He works hard, does all the things right. He fits the cliche of, first one in, last one out. I think he's learning how to take care of his body and things like that, of being a Division I football player. I think when you look at some of the guys on Boise State's defense and guys that you think will make a big jump this year, Max Steege would be one of those guys for me. That being said, you bring up Roman K-Wood's name. I will shout his praises from the top of Table Rock. He is an outstanding human being first and foremost, but he's going to be a good football player too.
Now, I know sacks are an entirely defensive thing. Boise State obviously has gotten some from all over the field, but you typically think of your edge rushers, your pass rushers as your guys that are going to lead the way in terms of getting sacks, because that's literally what they're out there to do, get to the quarterback. So when the sack total comes down, I do think some of that goes to the edge rushers, but not all of it. But I say that, Jay, because we all know 2 years ago, Boise State literally led the nation in sacks. 55 sacks last year, led the nation, and that number was literally cut in half last year, down all the way down to 27 sacks, and that was 62nd in the country. Now, I know Tubner and some of these guys, guys move on, and it's different ways to try to scheme things up, and it's different players and all that, and I totally get that, but 55 sacks down to 27 is just a massive drop off. What'd you see for the reason for that, and how much of that is on the edge position there?
Yeah, I mean, I think a little bit certainly on that position, because you want to generate more sacks from your defensive line clearly. But as you brought up, the 2024 Fiesta Bowl team, they could bring pressure from a lot of spots. I mean, Andrew Simpson was dynamic as a pass rusher, the way that he could move and bend and get through the smallest of creases. Another guy, Shea Oladipo from the nickel position, was I believe I can't remember if somebody overtook him because he played in the college football playoff championship game or made a deep run. But for much of the season, Shea Oladipo led all defensive backs in the country in sacks, like 6.5 or something like that. So as you were kind of saying, BJ, they brought it from all over. They had guys that could contribute to those sack totals. Now, how many people will they add to the defense this year that can be dynamic and maybe put pressure on the QB? And even that being said, man, you have to play to your strengths. The strength of the team 2 years ago, getting after the quarterback. The strength of the team last year, they had Jeremiah Irby and Amarion McCoy, two very experienced cornerbacks where, yeah, you might think you could send numbers and allow those guys to, work on an island by themselves. But, just the way they operated last year, those guys had a lot of interceptions last year, right? So you have to identify your strengths and play to the strengths of your defense.
Question here about different position, but speaking of the D-line, wanted to know if either of you have heard or seen anything about Deuce, the freshman defensive tackle from Alaska. Super intriguing, already listed over 300 pounds.
I mean, the great thing about, I brought up 5 for 5. The great thing about this rule now is that everybody, if they go earn it in practice, is going to have a chance and an opportunity to find their way on the field on game day. Because while I do think there are certain conversations you're going to have with incoming players that, hey, this is a developmental year for you, you really need to focus on that. No longer, if somebody earns their way on, do you have to worry about balancing the books and making sure they play 4 games, then only the bowl game or whatever it is. Like now, if you're a freshman that comes in and you prove it in fall camp, you can get out there and play. I think that I would be cautious about any true freshman playing on the offensive or defensive line, though. Like realistic expectations, man, those are big boy positions, and it is hard to get yourself in the position to make a big time impact, whether it be on the offensive or defensive line, especially maybe if you're kind of coming in late, just during the fall camp portion. So, I mean, with a true freshman at those positions, I would operate a little cautiously. I'd be more excited about, like a Mikhail Edward or Drew Rubottom or things like that. Like I'd anticipate those guys making like a more of an immediate impact, but we'll have to see.
He's the second guy in my tenure here covering Boise State that has a first name Deuce and a second name that is impossible to say or spell. Any thoughts on Ile Falufa, or what do you got?
We're gonna have to. My first question is, I want to ask him if his name's Deuce, because when
Deuce
Mataele came in, and we were all calling him Deuce, and then like we do with some of these guys, like even it came up when we were talking with Marco Notriani, who we all thought we knew was Notarini, and he's like, through casual conversations and making sure we're pronouncing stuff correctly, he says, actually, it is Notriani. That's the correct way to say it. So then we shift and adjust. But I do remember
his head coach still didn't know, but
I do remember Deuce though, because we actually went down to Utah and did a fun story on his family. But Tutulu Piatau Mataele, and Tutulu Piatau had meaning to him, and that's what he actually wanted to go by. But I think it was somewhere from his JC. They ended up just calling him Deuce. And it just kind of carried over to Boise State, even though he didn't like it that much. So in
fairness, here, this version number 58, they call him Deuce on the roster. So
yeah, and Deuce turned into Tutulu Piatau.
Spell that.
Mataele.
Spell that.
You know what? I had fun with that on a pregame show at one point in time.
No, I think it was the 2014 Fiesta Bowl or whatever, something like that. Was he on that team? Because I remember you doing at the media day. I think you were asking players to spell it or something.
Dude, I think you're right. I
remember thinking that, and then I stole it last year with somebody that had a tough name. I think I stole your idea, and we were trying that the last time they were in the Fiesta Bowl.
Yeah,
but,
you're right. Yeah, back then I could spell it. Now it has been way too long. Nope. Yeah.
I saw they had Kenny Dillingham at Big 12 Media Days doing something where they were showing pictures of old players he's either coached with or played with. Did you see what I'm talking about?
No.
Anyway, it was like the host and him had to who could guess first who the player was, and it was, I forget if it was guys he had coached with and now are playing professionally, or guys he used to coach that are now playing, and because of the different places he's been, and it was pretty funny. And then he had some anecdotes. So I'm trying to rack my brain if there's something kind of like that I can do that's fun for some of the players at Media Day. Some sort of, I'm not sure. I got to just figure out something fun to do and ask the same 10 questions to 6 players and coaches next week. But we'll see what happens. But that I do remember that, and it was I don't remember if you had him spelling how did you say the first name again?
Tutulu Piatau.
Tutulu Piatau. That's right. Mataele. No.
Mataele.
Yeah. Okay.
Tutulu Piatau Mataele.
And they had to fit that on his last. I forget.
Well, it's just Mataele. They had to fit on the last, but yes.
Well,
still.
All right. Yeah. And he is, by the way, he doesn't have a photo yet, so he must still be pretty new. I don't remember when he got here, but he doesn't have a photo yet on the 6'3" from Anchorage, Bartlett High School there. Bartlett High School. Do you know another famous? Well, I'll just say Kansas Jayhawk that played at Bartlett High School, NBA champion.
I don't know any famous Kansas.
Mario Chalmers, the shot, Bartlett High School out of Alaska there. How about that?
I hate admitting this, but I actually remember exactly where I was standing when Mario Chalmers hit that shot.
Where were you?
I was at what was
2008, so you must have been
what was Fox Sports, what was also Root Sports, which is now non-existent. But I was standing in the newsroom at Fox Sports Northwest, and we were watching it. And I was watching on like a producer's desk, which the TV monitor was probably smaller than my laptop screen. And there were TVs everywhere, but I was dialed in because I was trying to cut something. And yeah, Chalmers hits his little deep jumper, fadeaway, whatever the hell it was, and the Jayhawks won.
They did. Final thing on the edge position, Jay. Sky says JVM needs a tee off on Dante Moore, first series strip sack at Autzen. Can't wait.
Speak it into existence, Sky. Speak it into existence.
So overall, I mean, do you feel really good, kind of good? Some questions need to be answered in fall camp. Where are you overall with the edge group as we wrap this up?
I feel pretty good knowing JVM's over there. I mean, there's not much of there's not. I mean, there are a few better people to start something with than that guy. And I'm telling you, he looks like an absolute tank right now. Like, he's going to be the guy where it's like, I don't care where they're going, send Jaden Virgin Morgan off the bus first, because it's back like when they had Leighton Vander Esch to get off the bus factor. Yeah, he gets to walk off the bus first.
Yeah, and that's what I always remember Leon Rice saying that. He's like, they used to walk to the airport and they looked like the swimming team, not a basketball team. And now they've increased their and you want to have put JVM and then Bull behind him wouldn't be a bad one. Yeah, they got some guys that certainly looked the part, and again, 55 to 27 sacks is a very noticeable drop, but I would anticipate that number just evening out a little bit, going back up this year, but we'll see. Max Steege, what's the over under? Max Steege had a half a sack last year. Can we get him to 3.5? Can we is that a fair number, or is that too low?
Oh yeah, I think that's a fair number. Like, I think I've said this on the show before. I would love to see Max Steege like work into Chase Hatada range. Like,
5-6 sacks.
Chase's last year, I want to say he had 6 sacks, double-digit tackles for loss. Max had 7 tackles for loss last year. I think if he can push that up into double digits, and then add a few more sacks in there as well, I feel like those are realistic numbers for him. And I think that if he can do that opposite of Jaden Virgin Morgan, that's going to set that position group up for success.
I just thought of the game I might do with some of the coaches, high schools that former players went to. Because Chase Hatada, first thing that popped in my mind, Rockland High School.
Yeah.
So it's crazy how much we think about that or write about that, and you just kind of memorize that stuff. And so, like Zeke Noah, Helix High or whatever it is, and you think of all the St. John Bosco guys and all the.
That's a long list.
Yes. Yeah. So maybe that's like which one of these guys did not go to St. John Bosco, or which one. I might have fun with that. We'll see. All right, Jay, I do want to touch on, you got a cool summer series going with some of the newcomers. And one of the newcomers that you talked about or that you talked with was our question yesterday. So I want to go back and talk about that in just a second. Akeem Wright, the Nitro Wright, the wide receiver. We'll do that in just a second, but I want to thank Matt Bauscher and Bauscher Real Estate. Number 1 ranked realtor in the Treasure Valley is Matt Bauscher and Bauscher Real Estate. If you're looking to buy or sell a home, Matt's the guy you need to reach out to, folks. 252-9877. Rain's family, happy clients of Bauscher Real Estate. You can be as well. BauscherRealEstate.com. We use all of our sponsors, folks. I don't just, blow smoke. We are clients and customers of all of our sponsors, and when I tell you we use them and we like them, it's the truth. And I'm not going to say that if I don't, believe in the product. I've turned down sponsors before because I'm not a huge fan of their food or their products. So when I tell you something, it's the truth, and that goes for Signature Roofing. Online at mysignatureroofing.com, whether it's a new roof, a repair to a roof, an inspection to your roof, you name it, all your roofing needs. We love in our roof. We love the process. It was done in a couple of days. Very quick, easy process. Check them out. Tell them I sent you. Signature Roofing at mysignatureroofing.com. Same goes for Element Fencing. We had a new fence put in by Element Fencing recently. They've done a tremendous job, and they fixed the fence for us. Elementfencing.com, 631-2790. And the craftsmanship is unmatched. 25 plus years in the fencing business. They can do decks, pergolas, you name it. Brady and his company are ready to help you build that perfect project from the ground up. They'll be sponsoring our defensive player of the game come football season. Element Fencing, elementfencing.com. Ridley's Family Markets, shop ridleys.com. 13 locations in the state of Idaho. Support local, support a locally owned, Idaho-owned company, folks. And the CUNA location is great. They've got the new self-checkout kiosks that are just so easy to use. And great selection, great prices. Hit up Ridley's Family Markets at shopridleys.com and rowpaint.com as well. We've had concrete coatings done from them twice, changed the ugly look of that concrete slab in one day with rowpaint.com, and they can do residential interior, exterior painting. They have that painter for a day project where you can supply the paint, and they'll supply the painter, and you can have a couple walls done, touch-ups, whatever you need done. So many great options. All your painting needs. Make sure you hit up our friends at rowpaint.com. All right, Jay. Akeem Wright, Nitro Wright. You guys have a cool series going on right now where you are catching up with some of the newcomers and the first interviews that they're doing since they arrived on campus. A lot of these guys were their first semester on campus. They're not available to the media. They'll be available to all of us, I guess, starting with fall camp. But you guys are getting some of these guys on Bronco Studios, and I saw that it was a little noteworthy. I thought it was noteworthy, and somebody else mentioned it to me, that the fact that I don't know how many of these you're doing, but the fact that Nitro Wright was picked to do one of these and it is a little noteworthy, at least in my eyes and some other folks' eyes, and I'd agree with them, that he is going to be seen as the coaches as a guy that is going to be a key contributor to his team if he's being sent out here in middle of July as part of this series. So yesterday's question was, who will be the leading receiver, who will be the best wide receiver, I think it was, on Boise State's team this year. What'd you take away from the interview? And again, folks can go to the Boise State Athletics YouTube page right now and watch your interview with Akeem Nitro Wright. But I think it was a little over 20 minutes. BSU Bill says, love the interview. Crazy. He's put on 30 pounds since he's been here. I'm buying the stock. What'd you take away from your interview with Nitro?
First on my takeaway is just, BJ, every now and then you have that like conversation with an athlete and you expect to get locked into like a more traditional interview, and then it just turns into just like a fun conversation. And it was just a fun conversation chatting with Nitro. I think he's got a lot of personality. I think he's got a lot to prove. I think he has a chip on his shoulder. He took a very untraditional path, I would say, to this point in his career, where he was, playing high school ball over in Baltimore, Maryland, which how about this, BJ? Can you name another Boise State football player, past football player, from Baltimore, Maryland?
Baltimore, Maryland.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm going to tell you. Cam Camper?
You got the position right.
Hold on. I'm going to know it.
Got to go back a little further.
Not Cedric Wilson. He was Minnesota, I believe.
You're getting closer. The era, type of player.
Somebody in the chat, you got 10 seconds here. Baltimore, Maryland wide. I know John Hightower?
John.
Boom.
Hightower.
Oh, I did beat you, BSU Bill. He was right behind me. There you go.
Yes. John Hightower.
Good.
So it doesn't happen very often where they go out that far to get a wide receiver, but it worked out with John Hightower, I'd say. Like, Hightower came out of a JC his first year on campus. I think he had 400 or 500 yards. And then that second year, he was a dynamic playmaker. They found ways to utilize his speed. Didn't quite get to the 1K mark, but came awfully close. But, I would suggest going and watching the interview with Akeem. I mean, obviously I'm biased, but just a fun guy. And it was cool to learn about his journey. And, out of high school, felt like he was a little overlooked. Went to a Division III in Ohio. Just said it wasn't for him. So he's like, I'm going to bet on myself, and I'm going to go out, and I'm going to play JUCO ball in California. And excuse me, immediately has, an awesome career there. Had over 900 yards as, his first year there. Then has almost 1,200 yards his second year there, where he won the Golden Coast League offensive MVP, was first team both years, 13 touchdowns in year one, 12 touchdowns in year two, 53 catches in year one, 59 catches in year two. I mean, he did everything for that team. He was really, really good. And he had significant interest and offers from other people, but chose Boise State because this is where he felt like he could maximize his potential. And getting back to what BSU Bill mentioned in that interview, he detailed how when he arrived on campus in early February, he weighed 158 pounds. And right now he's checking in at 188. And he was also, he also detailed how he is faster than he's ever been, his 10-yard splits and things like that, where maybe if you get a little heavier, sometimes those things slow down. He said that's not the case with him. His 10-yard splits and things are as good, as fast as he's ever been. He's as explosive as he's ever been. And when you look at Boise State's offense, 2 years ago, I like to call them extra credit yards, whether it is yards after contact, which Ashton Genty was the absolute yak king, or whether it be your rack, which is receiving yards after contact. I think last year they missed that a little bit, man. They need somebody to go out there and make plays after they catch the ball. And Nitro seems like one of those guys that certainly has the ability to do that. He did it, at a really high level in junior college. This will obviously be a huge step up, but we've already seen Nitro start to make that transformation. And I think that he's going to be key player on this team this year, BJ.
What else? I know you've done a couple of these. What else? Which ones have you done? What else do you want to plug?
Tyler Etheridge, he was right out the gate. Another guy that in a day and age, BJ, where all we hear about is what people feel like they deserve. This is a guy that he is so grateful for whatever comes his way, literally to the point where he first got here and after a workout, somebody handed him a protein shake and he was like, well, this is the coolest thing ever. It's a protein shake. Like, you probably expect to get one of those after a workout if you're a D1 athlete, but just a guy that is super grateful. His senior year lost his D1 opportunity after a position switch, had to go to Colorado State Pueblo, but it shaped and molded him into a guy that's going to play a big role for this Boise State football team this coming season. Not exactly sure how far we'll go. I mean, we're just going to try to entertain people until fall camp. So I'd say expect 6 to 8 of these.
Okay. Well, that proves my point about Nitro then, if he's one of the 6 to 8 that.
Yeah.
And Tyler Etheridge, I've given some anecdotes on him already leading the hype circle and things like that. He seems like a big guy. Final thing, Jay, real quick before I let you go. Oh, by the way, I want to give a quick plug to the Horseshoe basketball camps. July 18th and 19th. That's this weekend. Sources say if you do come on day 2, Jay Tust will be doing a dunk contest for folks during the Q&A portion during the break in the middle. But July 18th and 19th, Horseshoe basketball camps. You may see my son Nelly down there running around. We'll see. But Naismith Love, it was a great time. Get to hang out with some of the players you see in the photo here. And you get a shirt and you get a lot of individual coaching. As I said, it's not some camp with 300 kids. It's 30, 40 kids, a lot of one-on-one attention with the BSU players, and it's a lot of fun. And if you're looking to go and Jay, these horseshoe camps, like how many kids show up directly impacts how much money these kids make. So if you want to support Boise State and more directly, put money in Pearson Carmichael's pocket and some of these players and help them out, a portion of the sale, the portion of your entry fee goes directly to these athletes. So help them out. And you can get some cool basketball instruction for your kid. You get to play at the Boise State facilities and be around the coaches. And they kind of feel like a Boise State player for 2 days. It's pretty cool. So it's 18th and 19th this weekend. Get more information. Sign up at horseshoecamps.com. Now, I am in the middle of the Lindy's Magazine stuff, Jay. We actually recorded an interview with Leon yesterday that we're going to play on Sunday on our show. Another night out west. Tom Moser is doing a great job. And we're kind of tag teaming some of these Pac-12 Mountain West coaches. And it's been a lot of fun. We got Vance Wahlberg, and we got who else we got today? Sonny Sundance Wicks at Wyoming. I got a couple Big 12 coaches as well. But anyway, I say this because don't know if you saw this or not, but Donovan Dent, old friend from New Mexico.
I just got an alert from somebody, or like a Twitter alert.
Went to UCLA. Yeah. Had his 4 years of college done, and the new rule was if you're a fifth year, that doesn't start till next year. He had basically retired from basketball. He wasn't even going to play pro basketball. He was just going to retire and do some other things. And yesterday, late, and then now that more news coming out this morning, Donovan Dent has changed his mind, wants to play a fifth year of college basketball, has hired the same attorney that just got the 15 guys eligible, including MJ Collins from Utah State, who's going to Cincinnati, with Calhoun yesterday. So there's a decent chance with this new rule that some of these guys that won it with the ruling there, and we sort of all know, Jay, one judge is all it takes to mess all this stuff up. And one judge, I guess in Ohio or whatever it was, now may make all these guys eligible again. So kind of a two-parter. Is there anybody, Dylan Andrews, Dom Pearland's already playing pro ball. I don't know if there's somebody else that you'd try to get back for another year for Boise State, but more importantly, Donovan Dent, already there's speculation, Jay, that due to the 2 losses they've had recently, Gonzaga could potentially now have millions of NIL dollars available and a starting point guard spot. Could we see Donovan Dent back in the X again this season?
Well, first off, not knowing much about Donovan Dent other than he's a really good basketball player and he's fun to watch. How crazy is it now that, these guys are basically being put in a position where they can make such good money in college that's almost where if they want to, they can call it a career at that point in time. Because if you go overseas, you're probably not sniffing, for the most part, you're probably not going to sniff what you were making while you were the starting point guard at UCLA, or who knows where maybe this next year.
The Gonzaga point guard apparently did get enough money to jump, but he's right.
That's what I said. It doesn't. Yeah. It's not always that case, but sometimes it is. I will say, like, hey, separate but related, even watching the MLB draft or paying attention to it this last week, the Mariners swung and missed on a kid that's actually going to go, that is going to play college ball. But you kind of look at like his projected signing bonus in the MLB, and I'm guessing with, again, just like you would guess, or anybody with some slight knowledge of the industry, I'm guessing that signing bonus doesn't touch maybe what he could get for going to college for a year or so. Now in the MLB, it's also a little bit different because if you commit to go and do a 4-year, you're signing it away here for a few years. You can't. That might change, with this new collective bargaining. We'll have to see.
Mm-hmm.
Man, he's a fantastic basketball player, and while I don't love seeing him take on teams that I either root for or cover or anything like that, he is a fun basketball player to watch. So we're just gonna have to kind of sit back and wait what happens. To answer your question though on who though, I'm not gonna let the Tyson Degenhart argument die. If we're gonna grant it back one more year. Let's get
the fact
Daggy
that he's
back
actually
in the
gotten
blue and
paid
orange.
professionally probably changes that. Some of these other guys haven't technically started their pro careers yet. I don't know, but
Hey,
sure,
there
we
are
all
no
love Tyson
rules.
back.
Obviously, there are suggestions, but
Max Rice is here. Does he have a year left?
let's get it. Sure. He only played in like 160 games. Let's see if he's got any more.
I mean, maybe if he goes back to New Mexico, I guess that'd be kind of cool, and Boise State fans wouldn't have to deal with him except for one game this year, I guess, when they do play down in California. And yes, BSU Bill, I think we've talked about this. Donovan Dent basically committed on a visit to Boise State, and then at the last minute got way more money and went to New Mexico, and that was a crazy story where Donovan Dent almost was a Boise State Bronco way back in the day. But I don't know if maybe Matt Boucher can throw $2-3 million around to get Donovan Dent back for a year, and we can have our Ty Rodgers replacement, I guess. I don't know, but I think Gonzaga seems like a possible fit there. I don't know, but Jay, appreciate you for jumping on, man. Great show today. We'll be watching Bronco Studios. I guess more of those summer series and things popping up, and then obviously gearing up towards what should be a fun media day next Wednesday. So appreciate your time, and we'll do it again next Tuesday, man.
Sounds good, bud.
That'll do it. Bronco Nation News Live. Lithia Ford of Boise, our title sponsor. Sun Cruiser, we appreciate them for their support of BNN as well, our studio sponsor. Have a great rest of your day, and go read BroncoNationNews.com. Go subscribe. Support the sponsors, folks. Go watch Bronco Studios on the Boise State Athletics YouTube channel. Subscribe to our YouTube channel as well, and we will talk to you tomorrow, 9 a.m., Bronco Nation News Live, and online at BroncoNationNews.com.